So welcome to the session. I hope all of you guys are doing good. So the agenda for today is to talk about logistic regression, which is a part of machine learning. So machine learning is again growing day by day, and people are using it in their day-to-day tasks. And here in this particular discussion, we are going to talk about the concept of logistic regression, which is highly used for classification. Now, classification is one of the types of machine learning, which is the supervised way of machine learning. And in this particular discussion, we'll understand first of all what is classification is all about, and then we'll quickly talk about the understanding of the mathematics. Obviously, in 1 hour session, I cannot cover everything, but yes, I'll quickly give up the idea about how things work, and we'll quickly see the scikit-learn coding as well. So first of all, in the supervised machine learning technique, we have two concepts. One is regression and second is classification. So basically we are focusing here on classification, which is nothing but logistic regression. So don't confuse with the name that regression is written here, then why it is not for regression. It's coming from the linear family. That is the reason the name is coming from the regression. But logistic regression is basically used for classification problem statements. Classification problem statement as in when I want to predict my discrete values. If I want to predict the discrete variables. That is, for example, let's say whether my patient will get disease or not. So when the outcome is either yes or no type of scenarios, then we use classification technique. Whether I will get promotion or not, whether you guys are liking the session or not, something like that. So when I have to predict a discrete variable, then classification we use. There are various different algorithms. One is logistic regression. Second is support vector machine, naive Bayes, k nearest neighbor, decision tree, random forest, XGBoost. There are like various different algorithms can be used, and every algorithm has its own assumption. It is known as supervised machine learning technique because I can break the data into test and train, and I will use the training data to train the model, and I can use this testing data to test the model. I have something to supervise. Whatever the prediction coming in here, I can very well compare that with my original data. That is why it is supervised way of machine learning. So let's come back to the PPT here and we'll try to understand the mathematical formulation. So here, bit of linear algebra understanding is very important. We are not covering here as of now. We are assuming that you are aware of and coming from the mathematical background. When we are going with our own, like when we are having the courses, in our courses we are talking about this in more in detail, but as of now we are just discussing about the overview. So here is the use case. So basically what I want, the biggest assumption of my logistic regression is my data should be linearly or almost linearly separable. If my data is linearly or almost linearly separable, then only logistic regression will work. Else logistic regression will not work. That means if I try to create a line which will separate your positive and the negative points, and almost every positive or negative points are separable, Here you can see almost every points are separable. All the values here are positives, all the values are here negatives, except these 2 points. So that type of data is known as almost linearly separable. So when my data is linearly or almost linearly separable, then only logistic regression will work. If it is not there, it will not work. My ultimate aim is that I want to find this plane which will separate your positive and negative points. If I talk about two-dimension space, it's a line. If I talk about 3 or n dimension space, it is plane. So my ultimate aim is that I want to find the equation of a plane. Something like y is equal to mx plus c. It's a equation of a line. Here I am denoting it as wx plus b. Right? So this is nothing but y is equal to wx plus b, or I am saying pi is equal to, because we denote the plane in a form of a pi. This is my pi. So basically what happens is that I want to know what is my aim. My aim is that I want to segregate this positive and negative points by creating this line. So I want to get this line particularly. Let's say x is my one of the features. Let's say I want to know whether I will get promotion or not based on various features. That is, let's say my experience, how many team members I am handling, and maybe my son's age. Now, obviously, this is an important variable for my promotion. This is an important variable for my promotion as well. But this looks like not an important variable for me. So my ultimate aim is that I want to find the equation of a plane that is nothing but w1x1 plus w2x2 plus w3x3 plus b is equal to 0. Where w1 is the importance of experience, w2 is the importance of team members, and w3 is the importance of the son's age, and b is the intercept. Obviously my w3 will be almost 0 because it is really not important for me, but experience and my team member value will be higher. So basically it is generating a vector w1, w2 and w3. w1 is a weight of my x1, w2 is my weight of x2, and w3 is my weight of x3. This is a vector, this is a vector. So basically x and w's are my vector and b is a scalar. Scalar is nothing but, suppose I have 3-dimension space. If my x and y is equal to 0, so where I am passing from, that is my scalar quantity. So my aim is that I want to find this equation, or I want to find the importance of the weights of the different features in my data set. Now here is the bit of differentiation, bit of what do you say, the formulation of the logistic regression. Whatever points are positives, I am assuming that those are +1. Whatever points are negatives, I am assuming that those points are -1. Now again, as I mentioned that there is a concept of linear algebra involved a lot here. So there is a vector w which is perpendicular to the plane. And if the point is in the same direction, this distance di is positive. If this particular point is in the same direction as w, my di will be positive. If my point is in the opposite direction of w, then the dj value is negative. That is the idea. There's again derivation of all these we cover in our curriculum. But as of now, to brief you, that any point which is in the same direction of w, it's a positive. any point which is in the opposite direction of W are negatives. So now how it will work, how this algorithm works. Let's talk about this point. What is the value of yi? It's a +1 because it's a positive point. So if I do yi W transpose xi, W transpose xi is nothing but this distance di. So di is nothing but W transpose xi, yi is positive, W transpose xi is also positive, positive will become positive. Same way,
Hello.
ai is here.
Can you increase the font size? It's too small.
Sorry.
Font size, the text size. Yeah, well, thank you.
All right. So basically, this point. What about this point? This point is a negative point, right? Because it's a black point. So my yi is negative, and it is in the opposite direction of w. So my w transpose xi is also negative. So negative will become positive. Yi into w transpose xi will become negative. Oh, sorry, positive. Negative, positive. What about this point? This point actually is negative, but you are in the opposite direction. You are in the same direction of w. So yi is negative, w transpose xi is positive. So negative into positive is negative. That means it is incorrectly classified. Same with this point also. It's a positive point, but the di or dj, whatever, is negative. So negative into positive is negative. So basically, when you are correctly classifying the points, my yi w transpose xi is positive, and if you are incorrectly classified the points, my yi w transpose xi is negative. That is what my classifier is. That is what the logistic regression does. So what is my ultimate aim? My ultimate aim is that I want to maximize this value. Try to understand this. If my yi w transpose xi are positive for all the points, that means your algorithm created the correct classification for all the points. So my ultimate aim is that maximize the summation of yi w transpose xi as high as possible. If this is maximized, that means my all the points are correctly classified. That is the whole idea. So basically, if I go to the next slide, you can see that this is what my equation coming out to be at the very first stage. I want to find the best W which will maximize this equation. Try to understand xi and yi coming from my data set. The only thing which I can change is W. So I want to find this W which will maximize this entire equation. That is the whole idea here. But again, there is a problem with this equation. What is the problem? Let's try to understand this. We'll take one example. Here is my negative point. Here are my negative point as well. And here are my positive points. Now what is my aim is? My aim is that I want to find the plane which will classify my positive and the negative points as correctly as possible. So let's say this is my first plane which I am thinking is the best plane and W vector is here. Let's try to calculate the summation of yi w transpose xi for all the points. This distance is 1, this distance is 1, this distance is 1, this distance is 1, and this distance is 1. This distance is minus 1, opposite direction. This distance is minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, and minus 1. Let's say this distance is plus 20 because it's in the same direction of w. Now, the value is, this is my yi, right? Yi is plus 1 because it's a positive point. Positive point, positive point, positive point, positive point, negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point. And what is my formula? Yi into W transpose Xi. Yi is positive, W transpose Xi is also positive, so 1. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So for all the 5 points, it is plus 1. What about these 5 points? That is also plus 1. This into this, so plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. What about this point? 20 into minus 1, minus 20. So the outcome which we are getting is minus 10. Because of this guy, my summation of yi w transpose xi is becoming very high, negatively. My ultimate aim is what? My ultimate aim was, as per this equation, I want to maximize this. But it is becoming negatively high, which is wrong. So basically, because of this guy, which is nothing but outlier, because of the outlier, this particular equation, which we have just derived, is impacting. So if you find the outliers in the data set, this equation may not help. So in that case, I have to do something else. But before that, let's go ahead and take second scenario. Same data set, second scenario. So what I will do is, I will have the negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point, negative point, and I have the positive points, positive points, positive points, positive point, positive point. And now the new plane which I am thinking is this plane, where this is my W. So this distance is minus 1, this distance is plus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and plus 5. Same way, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5. This point yi is plus 1, it's a positive point, positive point, positive point, positive point, positive point. These points are negative points, so minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. And this point is also minus 1. Now if I go and do yi w transpose xi, what I will get? 1 into 1 is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. What about this? 1 into minus 1, minus 1, 1 into minus 2, sorry, minus 1 into 2, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. What about this point? Plus 1. So this cancel out, I left with 1. So in this particular plane, plane number 2, my yi w transpose xi is coming out to be 1. However, in this plane, my yi w transpose xi is coming out to be minus 10. So which is the better plane? This is the better plane, as per mathematical formulation. But as per logical, this plane is better. The reason is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Total 10 points are correctly classified out of 11. However, in this particular plane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 points are correctly classified on 11. So this plane is much better as compared to this plane. But still, my model will be this because of this equation. My yi w transpose xi should be as high as possible. Here it is plus 1, here it is minus 10. So how to solve this problem? The problem is because of this guy, the outlier. So I have to use certain function. As of now, my equation is summation of yi w transpose xi. I want to apply some function on this formula. which will take care of the outliers. That function is nothing but my sigmoid function. So my new equation will become, which is more powerful when there is an outlier. The new equation will be nothing but the sigmoid function is nothing but 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus x. And this minus x is nothing but this entire value. So my new equation is coming out to be 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi. This is my new equation. So basically from this equation I came to this equation. Why we came to this equation? Let's go ahead and try to understand that. This is my sigmoid function. This is how the behavior of sigmoid function is. Now what I am saying is that this is my yi w transpose xi. And this is my f of x, that is nothing but 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi. So what I am saying is that if the yi w transpose xi will increase either positively or negatively very high, that is the problem here, right? This guy was very high, 20. My yi w transpose xi was very high. So what this function is doing is that it is saying if you are increasing, I will also increase. If my x will increase, my function of fx will also increase. But at a certain point, I will taper it off. I will not go up till 20. I will go up till maximum 1. So if the distance is very far, I will not take that entire distance. I will maximum take 1 as a distance. So sigmoid function is basically helping me to take care of the outliers. That's why this x, I applied f of x. That is the whole idea. So if you see here, I have explained in the PPT as well the entire thing. So sigmoid function and all those things I have explained here. So this is what the impact of outliers, what we have discussed. And here is the sigmoid thing. This is known as squashing. When we are applying the sigmoid function, this is known as squashing. You can see here 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus x. Now my equation is becoming 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi. Why we are going with a sigmoid function? One more question comes in my mind, that why we are going with a sigmoid function. We are going with a sigmoid function because sigmoid function gives me a nice probabilistic interpretation as well. Check here. The minimum value is 0, the maximum value is 1. And if the distance is 0, you are 50%. Suppose I have a plane and the point is on the plane. That means you are 50%. Either you are positive or negative. I am not sure. It is 50-50. So it gives me a nice probabilistic interpretation. That is the first reason why people are using sigmoid function on top of the logistic regression. Second is my function is differentiable. When we are solving the machine learning problem statements, my function should be differentiable. If the function is not differentiable, machine learning algorithm require differentiable functions. So this sigmoid function is differentiable. Now after that they have modified this equation further. So there is some more mathematical formulation. So I'll quickly go through that. So basically this is the equation which we got in the last slide, where we applied the sigmoid function 1 upon 1 plus e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi. Now I am applying the very first property of the log. The property of the log is this one, log of 1 by x, which is nothing but minus log x. That is what we are applying here, log of 1 by x. This entire I am assuming it as x. So log of 1 by x is nothing but minus log of x. That is one of the properties which we are applying. Second property which we are applying is this one. Argmax of negative function fx. Argmax of negative function fx is nothing but argmin of function fx. This is the equation for the logistic regression. But still this equation has some problem. Let's try to understand this equation. Again, logistic regression can be derived using multiple ways. Using the linear algebra, or I can say geometry, or using the probability, or using the loss function. When you are deriving the logistic regression with the probability, you will get this equation. So actually the behavior of this equation and this equation is actually same. Here I am assuming that my positive points are +1, negative points are -1. Here we have to assume my positive point is +1, negative point is 0. And if you put the values here, right, you will see that the outcome will be exactly the same. I can derive the logistic regression in multiple ways. Now what is the problem we have here? What is the problem we have in the latest equation of a logistic regression? So let's try to understand that. So this is my latest equation for logistic regression, which is nothing but log of 1 plus e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi. This is my equation for logistic regression. Now what is the problem in this particular equation? Let's try to understand. So here you can see that the equation is 1 plus e raised to power yi w transpose xi. My ultimate aim is that I want to minimize this entire equation. How can I minimize this entire equation? Log of 1 is already 0. Log of 1 is already 0. What I am assuming now, let's take this entire as minus zi. Right? I am assuming that for simplicity's sake. So 1 plus e raised to power minus zi. Let me go ahead and plot the e raised to power x. Let me go ahead and plot e raised to power minus x. Now this is the plot for e raised to power minus x. This is my x, this is my e raised to power minus x. When your x is increasing, your e raised to power minus x is becoming 0. If I come back to the PPT, when your x is increasing, your e raised to power minus x will become 0. And what is my aim? My aim is that I want to reduce this entire thing. Log of 1 is already 0. E raised to power minus yi w transpose xi will become 0 if my this value will become very high. And when this value will become very high? When my w will become very high. My xi and yi cannot be changed. The only thing which I can change is w. So when my w will become very high, e raised to power minus yi w transpose xi will become very high. That means for every variable, what is w? W is nothing but the weights, right? W1, W2, W3 for x1, x2, x3. So you are making your w's very high. That means you are giving importance to all the features. Sun's age, it is not an important variable. Still you are giving importance to it. So you are overfitting the model. So this equation is prone for overfitting. Overfitting will happen quite easily. So what to do? The idea here is that we'll add one more extra term called regularization term, lambda into w square. As it is in the power of 2, it is L2 regularization. If it is in the power of 1, absolute value, it is L1 regularization. What will happen now? If you try to increase the W here, this will also increase. And what is my ultimate aim? My ultimate aim is minimize this entire equation. So if you are increasing this, it is becoming smaller, but this is becoming big. So that is the problem, because I have to reduce this entire equation. So it will be like a tug of war between these two terms of the equation. It will try to increase, it will say no, don't do that. I will also increase. So it will come to the equilibrium. And this lambda is the hyperparameter. Assume that lambda is 0. If lambda is 0, this term is not there. And if this term is not there, what's happening? You are overfitting the model. So when my lambda is 0, it tends to overfit. If the lambda is very high, it tends to underfit. Why? Because you are giving more importance to this term. If you are giving more importance to this term, you are not giving more importance to this term. If you are not giving more importance to this term, that means you are not giving importance to xi's and yi's. And if you are not giving the importance to xi's and yi's, that means what? You are not giving importance to the data. When you are training the model, you are not considering data at all. And in that case, it is underfitting. So that is the whole idea of logistic regression. Now quickly I will show you the code. Code as in I'll just go to scikit-learn page and I'll show you whatever we have learned here. So here you can see. First of all, the regularization or penalty. Whether you want to go with L1 or L2 or mix of both. Elastic net is nothing but L1 plus L2. You see this C. This C is nothing but 1 by lambda. If lambda is high, you are overfitting the model. If the lambda is, when the lambda is high, you are underfitting the model. When the lambda is low, you are overfitting the model. It's reverse. If the C is high, you are doing lambda low, then only C will high. And when lambda is low, what's happening? You are overfitting the model. If C is low, you are underfitting the model. C is nothing but 1 by lambda. That is the idea. So to run the code in the scikit-learn. It's a straightforward code. It's just you have to call this package on the dataset and you are done. Let me show you one simple code here. So this is the data for the credit, whether my customer will get loan or not, credit history. So here we are importing the data set, checking the null values. Looks like all are not null columns, so things are fine. No missing value requirement. We are just converting the, so there are some missing value in the gender and other features. So we are populating the missing values, converting the categorical data to numerical data. And here we are applying the logistic regression. So it's a straightforward call. From sklearn.linear model, import logistic regression. Log model is equal to logistic regression. By default, the value of C is coming out to be 1. We have to find the best value of C. So what we can do is, there is a concept of cross validation also, or k-fold cross validation. What happens is that I will split the data into test and train. I will further split this data into cross validation also. So this is my 60% data, 20% data, 20% data. The problem with this approach is that my training data is reducing. But what I will do is, I will use the training data to train the model, cross validation data to check the model accuracy, and then I will have a second check from the test data. So to take care of this reduction in the data set, there is a concept of k-fold cross validation. I will just split the data into train and test. And here on the train data set, I will split further k folds, let's say 5 folds of data 1, data 2, data 3, data 4, data 5. I will train my model on D1, D2, D3, D4, and I will check the accuracy on the D5. Again, I will train the model on the D1, D2, D3, D5. I will check the accuracy on the D4. Same way for D3, D2, D1, like that. So I will take the different values of lambdas, because I want to find the best value of lambda or C. Let's say my lambda is equal to 1. I will train my model on D1, D2, D3, D4, and on D5 I will check the accuracy of the model. Let's say I got 75%. I will train it again. D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. On D1, D2, D3, D5 I will train the model, and on D4 I will check the accuracy. Let's say I got 70%. Same way I will check the accuracy on the D3, D2 and D1, and I will take the average of that. Let's say average is coming out to be 75% accuracy. Now I will change the value of lambda to 2. I will do the same process. Train the model on the each subset and test the model on the each subset. And then I will create a plot of lambda and the accuracy. With lambda equal to 1, what is your accuracy? With lambda equal to 2, what is your accuracy? With lambda equal to 3, what is your accuracy? And so on. It will generate some chart like this maybe. That means the best value of lambda is 3. Because the accuracy which I got higher at the lambda equal to 3. So this is basically my k-fold validation technique, helping me to tune the lambda values. Lambda is nothing but my hyperparameter. So if I want to tune the hyperparameters, k-fold validation can be used. So this technique is also known as hyperparameter tuning technique. I am tuning my hyperparameter. Hyperparameter tuning technique. So that is how this entire logistic regression works. Any questions you guys have, please let me know. Anything which you are not clear with? All right. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover. I hope you got something new here. Again, we have the courses with us at the SkillUpRight, so you can check with the support team for more details. As we have only 1 hour, so this is just a brief idea about logistic regression, but we have covered, or we will cover in the future set batches as well, on the detailed understanding of how these different algorithm works. So basically, in this particular curriculum, we will have a detailed understanding of the various concepts, and also we'll solve a lot many problem statements during the entire curriculum. So I hope this makes sense, but still, as I mentioned, with 1 hour, I tried my level best to give you the brief idea about how things work. But the mathematical details and all the derivation we cover in our curriculum. But to give you a brief idea, this session is what all about. So thanks for all of the time which you guys have given, and we are conducting the second session on Tableau next week. So if you are interested, go ahead and uh, connect with the support team, and we'll connect again on Tableau with more details. So till then, take care and stay safe.